It's Passover week and it's Monday. It's the morning after the memorable day before when Jesus rode into Jerusalem riding that young donkey, to the crowds welcoming him as the long-awaited Messiah. He's heading back into Jerusalem this morning from where he's staying at Bethany. But the Gospels record that on the way, Jesus noticed a fig tree in full leaf. Now that was unusual because it was very early in the season. But if there were leaves on the fig tree, then there would be figs. However, on examination, there were none. You see, the fig tree gave the impression that it was fruitful, but it wasn't. So Jesus rebukes the pretense of fruitfulness, and he stated that no one would eat its figs again. On entering the city, Jerusalem would have been bursting at the seams with pilgrims from all over the world. And just like all other pilgrims, Jesus and the disciples headed straight for the temple, where the money changers and the dove sellers were making a roaring trade. They did every year, because any item that was required for temple worship could only be purchased using the temple money. And so the money changers had their corner on this market. So they would set the exchange rate in their favor and then charge top rate for anything that you needed to purchase. It was a scam. And ultimately the religious leaders benefited from this lucrative niche in the market. And there was nothing that anyone could do about it. Well, when I say there was no one, I don't mean Jesus. He was indignant with such greed. He was angry at the thought of people exploiting other people's faith. A couple of years earlier, he had taught them a lesson, but obviously they had not amended their ways. So Jesus grabbed the tables and threw them around the place, money and doves everywhere. Now that caused a scene, and there was a sudden redistribution of wealth with the ongoing scramble for all those assets that now lay lying on the ground. But I can't help but notice there is a theme emerging. You see, Jesus doesn't have any time for things or people who are false, whether they are the deceiving fig tree or men who exploit and capitalize on other people's faith. Being authentic, being honest, being real is what matters to Jesus. It's clear from the Gospels that apart from the religious leaders who were constantly goading him, the majority of people in the city appear to admire, acknowledge, even believe in him. And the Gospels state that even in the following day, the children are still singing the Hosanna songs, repeating from what they heard yesterday, much to the religious leaders' objections. And amidst this clash of rejoicing and yet rebuking, Jesus is found kneeling alongside the sick, the lame and the blind, laying his hands on them and healing them. 1 minute, he's upending tables. The next, he's laying his hands compassionately on the weak. As I said earlier, Jerusalem was filled with Jews from all over the world. But some Greek Jews sparked an unexpected response from Jesus. All these guys asked to do was to meet him. Well, everybody wanted to meet Jesus. But it was as if he was waiting for this moment, this encounter. And suddenly Jesus stopped laying his hands on the sick. And he just vented these words, "The hour has come for the Son of Man to be glorified." He went to speak about how a seed falls into the ground and dies, but ultimately produces many more seeds. Then, getting quite emotional, he said that his heart was troubled within him, and should he ask the Father to save him from this hour? No, it was for this very hour he came. And so he said, publicly, openly, Father, glorify your name. And then it happened. There was a response to his request, but not from anyone close by in the temple. In fact, it was a loud, booming, sky-filling voice that said, I have glorified it, and I will glorify it again. I'm sure everyone went silent. The children stopped singing. Even the sheep stopped bleating. And even the religious leaders stopped whinging. And a sort of startled hush blanketed the people. What was this hour that Jesus was referring to? When you walk through the Gospels, you find that even at his first miracle in Cana, Jesus said, and several other times after that, that his hour or his time had not yet come. But whatever this hour is, it just got a whole lot closer. The day ended in complete contrast. It started with a deceptive fig tree and corrupt religious racketeers. But the day ended with an authentic voice from heaven that affirmed and confirmed that indeed his hour was near.